Hello everyone and welcome to our special series about the 2025 Annual Town Meeting. This series is designed to help inform residents about issues that are important to the town. Each segment is about a specific article or group of articles, so make sure you check in to find the issue that's important to you or to learn about all of the issues our town is facing. This next segment of our series on the 2025 Annual Town Meeting is about the town's capital plan. Capital investments are large purchases requested by town departments in order to make sure that their services are functioning well. Each year, town meeting is asked to approve these purchases, and to help you with this decision-making process, we're going to bring in several members of our departments to talk about their projects. All of these purchases are vetted by the Finance Committee and the Select Board after an extensive process in the fall, and then a review of how it works with the town's budget in the spring.
Before we get into the individual projects that make up the capital plan, we'd like to talk a little bit about the process. And in order to do that, I'm joined by a couple experts. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm James Cataccio, Chair of the Finance Committee.
And I'm Kelly Byer, the Town Accountant.
Kelly, did you ever think you'd be considered a capital expert?
Not until today.
That's great. So James leads up the Finance Committee here in the town, as he said, and there's a process for vetting the capital. So do you want to take us through that before we get into the individual projects and what they're about?
Absolutely. So briefly, we hold marathon meetings typically every January where each department comes and presents their budget to us, as well as any capital requests that they may have. We compile that list, and if we have any additional questions, we typically follow up with the individual departments. We vet each one to see if it really fits the town's needs and overall fits within the budget of the town.
And I know one of the things the Finance Committee has been talking about this year is how these projects fit into the larger picture of a 4 or 5 year plan. And I understand you're going to be doing some of that work this summer.
Yes, that's correct. So we do, your department has certainly helped us tremendously with putting together a 5-year plan for the capital. So we're able to kind of scope out these various different projects for each year and look at how it fits into the town's needs. And we'll be doing more of that over the summer during our summer session as well.
All right, great. So let's look at some of those individual projects. So we're here to learn more about some of the DPW's capital requests. Why don't we start with the roadside tractor and mower? So what do we do currently, and what would this additional piece of equipment help us with?
Okay, so currently we hire a vendor every year for the past 30 years to work for roughly 2 weeks out of the year, and that rate is around $100 an hour, which is pretty reasonable, but getting quite expensive. And with the 2 weeks that he's here, he's usually only able to do, the main roads and a few parity roads and maybe some, high priority things that we have to address. Other than that, that's usually around June or July. And after that, it's basically left up to us through residential complaints, which we get 50 to 100 every season. And, we have to send the guys out there. And by the time we do get them out there, the weeds are 5-7 feet tall, and they don't know what they're getting into: poison ivy, holes, bees' nests, things of that nature. So I think getting a roadside mower and spending the money now on it, and we'd be able to run that mower for 12, 15, 20 weeks out of the year, weather depending, I think it would pay for itself in 4 or 5 years.
When you send a team out to handle a resident complaint, what are they doing physically?
Physically, they take weed whackers, brush cutters, backpack blowers to clean up afterwards, raking, and they spend probably 2 or 3 hours on a couple of sections where the roadside mower would do it in 20 minutes.
Okay,
So I think it's very beneficial.
A lot of manual labor. This would replace that manual labor. So
Correct.
Assuming our employees would be out doing other things rather than doing this cutting.
Absolutely.
So you gain some efficiencies there.
Yeah.
All right. So you've also asked for a 40-yard trash container. I'm assuming this goes to the transfer station?
Correct, yeah. Some of our containers are 30 plus years old. They're getting to the end of their life. If not, there's a few of them that have exceeded that, and they're unsafe for travel. We're down to 3 trash containers, and on Saturday we usually fill 2 with 1 backup to change in case of any power outages or anything like that. So we really do need another trash container as soon as we can get it.
So I know you're aware that every one of these requests has an impact on the residents. So Can you just briefly describe your vetting process for when you submit these requests? How are we feeling comfortable that this is what you need?
Well, I think if anything were to break down, then we wouldn't have the sufficient amount of containers to handle a Saturday worth of trash, for example, or we'd be scurrying around trying to get, change a container on a Tuesday or a Thursday when people are in the transfer station, and just the safety of the road, the road travel, carrying the container to and from the incinerator, it would be more beneficial for sure.
All right, great. So I'm hearing efficiency, safety. These things are of primary concern.
Yeah.
All right, and the last investment here, it's listed on the DPW, but it's really a town priority, is investment in our road maintenance plan. So this is additional money. This would allow us to do more paving. So you and I worked on a paving plan together and worked with the select board. Can you just describe how you identify roads that need this maintenance and where we're at with that maintenance plan?
Well, I was fortunate enough to connect with you and Niche, I believe it was, that did a PCI index throughout town. That's a pavement condition index, and that gives us a good head start on the condition of existing roads, potholes, residential complaints, and through the 2-year plan, we've put a really good dent in some of these roads. We've gotten some main arterial roads done, some parity roads done. This year is a good-sized development that's going to be getting done, a section of West Street, and then moving forward, we'll consult that list that was sent in, and they rated from 30 to 100, and basically we've tackled all the rougher roads now, and now we can start expanding out into the 40s, 50s, and 60s range based on a next 5-year plan that we'll put together.
And there's not many people who know the roads more than you. How many years have you been plowing them?
30 years.
Do you have a road that you like the least?
Well, it was paved,
You don't
so
want to
that's
say
good.
it now?
Right now, I think one of the roads that's really bad is just a section of North Road that's really bad, and West Street, and Baldwin, and Stearns, and Woodridge, and we can go on and on. They do need attention. A lot of times we will, use cold patch to fix some of these holes, but that's a temporary fix. We do some road maintenance on our own where there's a rough section, we can cut it out and repave it and make it last, a few more years until it can get onto that plan. And we can get it that way.
And we've triangulated this plan, so we're using your experience. I rely heavily on your expertise. Also, our engineers, as you referenced, have identified roads that need repair. And lastly, the select board had several public hearings where they took input from the community, and all of those have mixed into our road plan. So believe it or not, this additional funding request is just to meet that basic need as we triangulate it with those 3 sources.
Correct.
So very important. Well, thanks for all you do in town.
Thank you.
We hope to get town support for these important projects, and thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Several elements of our capital plan include public safety items. I've brought a couple experts in to discuss those details. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, so I'm Brian Sars. I'm the fire chief in Carlisle.
Andrew Amendola, Chief of Police.
All right, so let's get right into these items. The first one I have on my list is a master box replacement. Chief, can you tell us about that project?
So we have the master box system we have in town covers all of the major buildings in town. So this is churches, this is the town buildings, this is the schools. And if one of those gets pulled, a coded signal goes to a master box system in the dispatch center. So this is located in the police station. This tells them where it is the master box got tripped. So right now the boards and the system itself is no longer produced. The boards are no longer available. It has to be repaired at the component level, and it's been recommended that we replace it with a new, more modern system. For yourself, if you ever do want to know where the master box has been struck, you can listen to the horn and look it up. We have red sheets you can put on your refrigerator and look it up and know where the fire is. But for the dispatchers, they have this master box system that needs to be replaced.
I'm not sure it's good to tell the public this, but when your horns go off, the whole staff stops to figure out where it is. It's something of interest here at Town Hall. All right, another item you have, Chief, is a power cot and loader.
And this is going to come from the ambulance reserve fund, but has to be voted at town meeting as we've discussed. So what is the power cot loader and why is it necessary?
So we have 2 ambulances now. One of them does have a power cotton loader, but we are using them more, and in fact, we are having more money go into this reserve fund to be able to do this. We have a lot of number of patients in town that are very heavy. This preserves and allows our EMTs not to get hurt, as well as it's a better way to handle this. Some of these things need to be replaced on a regular basis anyway, so these are things, this is an expense we're going to have. We're just doing it a little bit early in order to have it in our second ambulance, so that our second ambulance can handle all patients, not just a portion of them, which we have right now.
And this physically moves up and down rather than using manual labor.
Yep.
Protects our force.
So the cot up and down, and then once you get them into the ambulance, it loads it into the ambulance. And this is pretty much within the last 3 or 4 years become the standard of practice all through our area.
Patient safety, EMT safety, all these are reasons for doing this.
Completely.
All right, and we have both chiefs here to talk about the computer-aided dispatch system.
So the computer-aided dispatch system in our record management system is coming up to a time where it needs to be replaced. The current system that we're using is coming to end of life. It's still being supported, but it's not being updated. This affects, for everyone to understand, the computer-aided dispatch system is when you call 911, your call comes in, gets implemented into a CAD, and it helps our response time for the police to respond to your emergency. The records management system is something that goes with our report writing, so it enables us to enter reports properly and correctly, so that's coming to end of life. This also affects the fire department as well, if you want to touch base on the CAD end of that.
Yeah. So historically, our fire department has written our own custom software. We're trying to get away from that, except for where we absolutely need it, in terms of being able to support things in the future. But the other thing is that the dispatchers at this point, for a call where you're dispatching both police and fire, they have to use 2 different systems. They go in one, say this is what they're doing, then they go in the other one, say this is what we're doing for the fire side. If it's an integrated system, then they can just say there is a call, these are the people, these are the units responding, and it's a better system for them to use as well.
All right, so we've talked about alarms, loading ambulances, computer-aided dispatch response, and then cruisers. So people are pretty familiar with police cruisers. What is this year's cyclical replacement and why is it necessary?
So this year we're requesting one line car for police cruiser. That's a marked police car that you see out on the street. That will be used for frontline services, answering calls, daily usage. It's part of our plan to continue to replace some of the older cruisers within the fleet that we analyzed last year.
All right, thank you, chiefs, for all you do. They went through a heavy vetting process with these projects, so we're looking for your support at town meeting for these important items.